begin. Hey there, everybody.
Hey.
Oh no, I guess I need to clean that fucking mixer. Hope everybody is doing well out in podcast land and on American Hammers TV. We are the Columbus E13 back once again to make ridiculous fools of ourselves. This week joined by my good pal, Joey Dinapoli, who is instrumental in, or at least has been instrumental in the running of the Ohio Blues Chelsea group here in Columbus, Ohio. Hence his regal outfit that you can only see if you're watching us here on YouTube. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Kevy.
Hey, when I said hi, nobody said hi back. Oh, the guy got to be like Sally from Romper Room.
I gave you a hello, governor.
Oh, that's right. I heard the
We all said hi.
Yeah.
So it's Chelsea week. Among the other million things going on, terrible things going on at our club, we do have another London derby. I love when we say derby in America.
Yeah, or say derby and get corrected.
Makes absolutely no sense, but that's okay.
Oh, it's the Kentucky Derby, right?
Right, it is the Kentucky
That's
derby.
how you said it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. So before we get into the tumultuous atmosphere around our beloved West Ham United, I wanted to not just introduce Joey, but have Joey tell us a little bit about himself and about what it's like being in a Chelsea group here in Columbus, Ohio.
wow, that's a lot.
Well, I mean, other than that, like Joey and I know each other really well from the Columbus Crew Nordeck. He has served for many years as one of the main lieutenants of Yellow Nation Army, one of the supporters groups.
I'm actually Admiral. That was my rank.
Admiral.
I am Admiral.
So sorry. I didn't see the bars right away.
The bars will be on the sweatshirts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Yellow Nation Army took a break for a year or two, but are back in full next season. That's correct?
That is correct. There will be no liver safe.
I love it. For people unfamiliar with the Columbus Crew supporter culture, Yellow Nation Army are basically the people that are responsible for getting everybody loaded at the mega tailgates.
Fully loaded.
They have
Herbie.
an actual wooden bar that they build and just go to town on everybody there to make sure that the corner is well lubricated.
Well lubricated, but also happy.
Very happy.
We want happy, lubricated people.
Right. And we worked
Such an unfamiliar feeling as of late.
we worked on a new video for the announcement of the comeback of YNA right here at this very table just a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, we did. That was a blast, man.
Yeah.
I honestly, I never had any fun working on like college projects and things of that nature, but like going back to high school when I did video editing back in high school, it kind of like it felt a lot like that, and that was fun. You know.
Well, plus it's a passion project.
Yeah, that too. Like I had like the idea in my head at like 2:00 in the morning before the FC Cincinnati match down in Cincinnati,
which was another fun day.
Oh yeah, it was
another thing we're kind of at the moment kind of unfamiliar with, at least in our camp.
Yes.
So we've got a full year ahead of rock and rolling and alcohol-induced madness coming up starting in March. But
there will also be food, though, just so everyone's aware. There will be food.
Not salty. Yeah.
Right.
Crackers.
So we had that to look forward to. But this week, like I said, it is Chelsea week. And we all know how much the West Ham peeps love the Chelsea peeps.
Oh, Alan Johnson's like the biggest Chelsea fan of all time. I don't know. Have you met Alan Johnson?
No, I don't even think we've mentioned Alan. Alan is one of
our character.
He's one of our supporters. He's one of our guys. He hasn't come down to too many games with us at the pub, mostly because he works like that graveyard shift, and so by the time the games are on, he's like barely got an eye open watching the television. But he has come a couple of times.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen him in a little over a year.
Yeah, he hasn't been. I don't think he's been down to Pub Mahone yet. But but Alan. So Alan, like, no love lost with the Chelsea peeps?
Oh, he's always the one I hear from first and most.
Have you heard from him this week?
No, he's been pretty quiet this week.
Well, I posted your face all over our social media this week, and I actually asked people for questions.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, on the Instagram, I forgot, but on the Twitter and on the Gmail, I said, send us some questions. So while I'm looking that up, why don't you tell the people a little bit about like the origins of the Ohio Blues and where you guys get together and how many people are in the group and all that kind of cool stuff.
Yeah. So the group started back in about 2008. I hadn't joined yet. It was about 5 people meeting at Fido at the time. When I joined, it was right after I was done with college, and back in 2012.
Cool.
Yeah. And a year into it, we started collecting dues because of the way that it's structured with Chelsea to be able to buy tickets in a group dynamic.
Yeah, this is something that we don't have at West Ham.
Yeah, so we have to basically it's basically a lot of socialism. Gotta pull our resources together.
How much are dues?
I can't exactly remember because of the exchange rate, but I want to say it's probably around $200 to $300
a season.
A season
per person.
No, for the group.
Oh, for the group.
Yes.
Okay.
For the privilege of meeting together and watching a game on television.
No, it's more than that, though.
It is more than that.
So what else you get?
So because the tickets are so hard to get there, the registering as a group and getting gold status, so that means paying the dues and then also having a minimum amount of members, it entitles you to group ticketing.
Okay.
Which otherwise, it would be at face value. So you're talking like, 50, 60 pounds a ticket. For,
right.
It just depends on the match, too.
But just for games at the Bridge, right? They don't help you with away tickets, or do they?
They do.
Okay.
They help you with that as well. But if you weren't going to go that route, then the only thing that would be open to you would be like hospitality tickets, and those are like 300 pounds. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
but that's like fancy, like suite service kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I've done that.
You've done that.
The one time I went, I had to do it as big as I could. So
that was cool. That was the year John Terry that was
his swan song.
Yep. Yeah, when he had his whole like retirement speech and everything. You were there for that.
I was there for that.
When
we played Sunderland that day, and I got pretty toasted with my cousin Philip, and had a good time.
That's cool. That's right. That's where I yanked your Facebook picture from for our social media today.
That picture is actually from the stadium tour, though. I took the next day. So
you did the whole Chelsea experiential.
I did, and I think I did better than most people. I remember taking that stadium tour, and there was a lady that had walked in on the tour as well, and I'm not kidding you. She walked into the stadium with an Arsenal bag and then a like plush stuffed Leicester Fox mascot.
What? Was she like going like round table, like around from stadium to stadium, just going like different places?
I don't know what the deal was. I thought it was really weird that there was like an eclectic mix of.
I think I would think that was weird too.
Yeah, I would leave that stuff at I think like visiting stadium by stadium would be cool, but I would probably leave some of that stuff at the hotel.
Your Airbnb.
Yeah, exactly.
That seems odd.
Yeah.
So how many people are in the group currently?
So currently we have over 70 members, and that stretches though from Cincinnati, Columbus, Dayton, Cleveland. So it encompasses all of Ohio, not just Columbus.
Hence the Ohio Blues.
Yeah, okay. So you're not like the Florida Marlins playing in Miami.
No. We don't sell people off after they've reached their peak value.
Ouch. So one of the things is the very first game that we, the Columbus E13 anyway, went to watch together was actually at the Chelsea bar, and you guys still get together at Fido. Is that correct?
Yes, we still meet at Fido.
Right. Yep. And that very first time was like a Friday at 3 p.m. So there really weren't that many people there, but there were probably 7 or 8 or 10, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of people that work around the Easton area.
Right. And the 4 of us walked in and they were like, what the fuck is going on here? And then that's when Trevor, our friend Trevor, who we had on the show a couple weeks ago,
love Trevor.
He sprinkled the bar with congratulations, you've met the Columbus E13 business cards.
Oh, so he's the one. Okay.
He was the one. And then somebody else scooped them all up and threw them in the toilet and then posted a picture on social media.
That would be Andrew Tucker. Yeah.
Sweet. The cool thing about it is that our group has probably had the most interaction with, as far as other groups go in Columbus, with your group. Like we did our very first watch party ever was an invasion party kind of at Fido.
Right.
And then I kept inviting you to come down to Three-Legged Mare. We were watching the game. And then finally last year, you returned the favor.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we brought quite a few people.
That was probably the most crowded early morning game.
Yeah, it was like, what, a 9 a.m., 9:30
It was early.
It was a Sunday morning. Like, downtown was otherwise dead.
Yeah, it was after, it was the morning after a crew match as well.
Oh, so, that's right.
So yeah, I was actually a part of a groom or a bachelor party. So that went a little late. I almost didn't make it that morning. So,
but you did.
But yeah, I pulled it together, and
I was beginning to understand that something was afoot when I got there to set up the bubble machines and the speakers and stuff, and there was probably 4 or 5 Chelsea guys outside.
But we had never seen before.
Like before we even opened.
They're going to Starbucks. It's fine.
What's going on here?
So the other thing about that too is, so I have control of the Twitter account, and for about a week, 2 weeks, I was pretty much telling everyone, hey, we're meeting at Fido, like on Twitter.
For that game.
But like secretly, like within like, group texts and whatnot, like we were all on the same page. Hey, we're going over to Three-Legged Mare, like be there. Like we need a lot of people to show up.
I gotcha.
And everyone got the memo except for one person that showed up to Fido and immediately started texting me like
where is everybody?
Yeah, exactly. And like I'm like, oh man,
was that the guy that showed up late, like in the 20th minute? He came down.
Yeah, he was not happy with me because he was
taking direction from the Twitter.
Yes, exactly.
But everybody else knew.
Yep, everyone else knew.
Okay. Well, that was actually a pretty good day. I think it ended up being
it was a draw. Yeah,
it was a draw. So no hard feelings all around.
Yeah, there was a couple of gems. I remember Justin Gracie, one of our members. I think Jamie Noble like had a foul on somebody. I can't remember who exactly, and he shouted out loud, "That wasn't very noble of him," or something. It's like, that's how you kicked out of the group.
My favorite thing about the day was that I got myself a brand new nickname that day. Do you remember?
No, what's the nickname?
Well, we had like probably 10.
We were outnumbered.
We were outnumbered big time in our own house, but we had like 10. But you guys had like 30, 40 people there.
I don't think it was 30, 40.
It seemed like it.
It was close to 20.
I was going to buy shots, and then I was like, yeah, I don't think I got a fully open credit card. But because when I try to get our people in full voice, sometimes I use my iPad here full of the West Ham chants.
Okay,
especially when we're singing Bubbles.
Back to me now.
All of a sudden, the guys started calling me. What did they? What
Auto-tune.
They call me Auto-Tunes. And I was like, okay, I can take that. But at the end of the day, the draw kind of like everybody was hugging, and you guys everybody had a good time, and truth is we were happy to have you guys down there. And that was fun. You know what I mean? I still have no love for the club you love, and I'm sure you guys still have no love for ours. But, that such is the case with, far displaced supporters groups. It's always more fun to watch with people. So, like, the fact that you got that many people to go to an away bar, now you guys have other invasion parties set up, correct? You see, before we started recording tonight, you said okay. So we will not speak of these things.
So we'll see you on Saturday.
Right. Well, I mean, it's at the bridge this week. So,
it doesn't matter if it's home or away.
No, we try to go for the full away effect, though.
Right. Definitely. See, that's what we tried to do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Away days,
That's
that
it.
Sort of thing. Yeah.
It's our best version of away days that we can make up here in the States. So that's pretty cool. Too bad that it's going to be probably such a one-sided affair this week. Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's charitable.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice way to put it, right?
I think so.
There's so much going on with our club, I know now, I mean, other than the fact that Christian Pulisic, has come on like gangbusters for you guys, and the fact that there's so much youth in the team, truth is, I don't know very much about what's going on with Chelsea. So I know plenty about the bullshit going on at our club, and especially this week in the multitude of problems coming up. I got something cool to tell you before we start talking about the merry-go-round of managers.
We're here.
So after you guys all left, despondent on Saturday, there was one guy left at the bar. He was sitting there in an SBO bet, older kit, and he came up and he was asking me, and this the thickest Cockney accent. At first, I didn't understand what he was saying because I'm half deaf anyway. He was asking, "Hey, you gonna have Chelsea on?" And I was just like, "What?" And he's like, "You gonna have Chelsea on?" And I was like, "Yes, we are." He's here for work. Okay, but he is from Plaistow, Plai. It's East End, and nice. Real deal, West Ham fans, you know what I'm saying? And he knew a whole bunch of the people that follow us on the Instagram that are actually from over there. His name is Gary, and I know we're going to see him this week. He's here for a whole month. So the only games he's probably going to miss are the weekday games, but sure. It was just cool. He found us on Facebook, and this is not the first time. We've had people from all over. Some people from the UK, some people from Rhode Island. One guy from Seattle showed up one time. They find us. I mean, that wasn't my intention. You know what I mean? I was just trying to make enough noise around Columbus to try to get people to watch the games with me. But now we've ended up attracting other people, and I just adore that. I think it's super cool that we've been able to get that kind of traction. You know what I mean?
That's sweet. You do that wherever you go. And I
thank social media for that. I mean, I know that the Arsenal group here, they've got some people from the UK. With as many people as in your group, I know in the Tottenham group, there's a whole bunch of people from the UK. With as many people as in your group, do you guys have many expats in your group?
We do. They live more towards Cleveland, though.
Okay, so they're far away.
Yeah. The expats definitely live around Strongsville, Cleveland area.
Do they meet somewhere in Cleveland?
They meet in Strongsville right now.
Gotcha.
And that's a hot button issue for us right now inside the group.
Is there another supporters bar in Strongsville? So that's just South Cleveland.
The setup for Strongsville isn't so great right now.
Okay.
Basically, if it's not being televised on regular NBCSN or NBC, they're not showing the game. They don't.
So basically, they don't have a sports gold package. But it's Chelsea, so the game is usually on.
Yeah, but the owner isn't so inclined to play soccer.
That's the key.
He's good friends with the guy that runs the chapter up in Cleveland, but it's not really enough to make an investment in, because
Gotcha.
there's only like maybe 5 or 6 of them that actually meet up there.
All right, well then we will not speak of them.
We need another Browns bar anyway.
They're the banished ones. They need to come down to Fido and hang out with the main group, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, make the trip down 71
down
South.
every weekend.
Yeah. There you go.
4 hours, soon back.
Yeah, no big deal, right? It's just like going to a Browns game.
Yeah. Yeah, they're used to it.
We won't get into the Browns right now. I'm a little happy with the Browns this week in a big game this weekend, but let's move on to less happy things and talk about the poor form of West Ham United. Wow, it's like pin drop.
No, I mean, you could just replay whatever we said last week.
I mean, it's almost exactly like that. One thing that you'd sent me, Mark, last week before we did the show, the pre-Tottenham show, was something on. Mark sent me a link on Knees Up Mother Brown. It was like a fake written thing that was almost like a Hell's Kitchen episode, where they were talking about Gordon Ramsay coming into. In the beginning of it, made it sound like he actually went into the restaurant at London Stadium and was like, this food is garbage. It's like every other Hell's Kitchen, this food is garbage. I can't believe it. I'm going to vomit, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of it, he starts talking about the ingredients to the
it's a lot of puns. It's a lot of,
right.
taking a swipe at the owners, which no one was inclined to do like 2 weeks ago. And this week, everyone seems to heap, everything they got.
Right.
On them.
Right.
This was just waiting to boil over once again.
Right.
And it's very much a retreat to 2 years ago.
It's terrible. Almost exactly 2 years ago when it comes right down to it. Didn't you?
Yeah, more or less.
Right before we started tonight, you're saying that Slavin ended up getting the yank in early November.
Yeah.
That was 2017.
Yeah.
So we've been, and then we went to...
and we don't even have like a Champions League or anything. It's not like getting Maurizio Sarri dismissed. It's like a much more depressing conversation. How do you feel?
I don't want to get into the discussion of Maurizio Sarri. I'm also a Napoli fan, so right now he's not. I was in this fold of really not wanting to see him go, and because I do have some admiration for him.
But for giant parts of the season last year, he was like hated. Like when they weren't doing well, all of a sudden they were really blaming him.
Well, I mean, that was definitely from a lot of fans that were, short fused,
sure,
and not patient.
We're well versed in that at West Ham for sure.
So I look at myself and I think I'm a little bit more patient, especially considering like Chelsea's success. Like it doesn't break my back if they don't necessarily win a trophy for a season or two.
Right.
Like some people that will push some Chelsea fans over the edge.
Sure. Me,
not so much. And but going back to Sarri, so he had his days at Napoli. He did well there. I was kind of seeing sad to go from there, but he did come to Chelsea. I thought he did extremely well.
Right.
And that's where my admiration stopped, because he went to Juve. So never want to talk about the man again. Ever again.
He's dead to me.
He is dead to me.
He's dead.
Rip.
Okay. Sarri is dead. Ding dong, Sarri is dead.
But you get Lampard in as a replacement.
That's right.
How have you felt about him so far?
Well, I think we talked about this like a month ago, maybe. So I honestly didn't know what to expect. Again, my expectations are really tempered. So you talk about bringing Frank Lampard in. I'm not expecting a top 4 finish.
Sure.
Or maybe top 6. That's
well, I mean,
what I would
he had a rocky start to the season, but now they're coming on so strong.
Yeah.
And is he like the best striker that Chelsea has ever seen?
Box to box midfielder.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, he was so beloved when he was playing.
A young
when
guy.
He was playing for the Hammers. You know what I mean? What did they call him? Fat Frank.
Yeah, he ate all the pies.
But I mean, he has the squad responding to him, at least, I mean, that they're competitive this season.
Yeah.
Which you didn't necessarily expect given the transfer ban, like all of that going around him. Because I think that's what West Ham is trying to grapple with in this manager situation.
Right.
Is this, do we want to sack Pellegrini? A lot of people are more and more in that camp. Although you read around, it's not like he's lost the dressing room. I mean, I
haven't read anything that says that he has, but at the same time,
everything's
not inspiring.
Everything's very inert.
Right.
Right. It's not like there's open contempt, but clock's obviously ticking. So if we go to a replacement, I mean, you get who's up on this screen here. Eddie Howe will probably be the closest to a Lampard analog.
Right.
Younger guy.
Right.
I mean, he's kept Bournemouth as an established Premier League team, right? They're in there 6, 7 seasons now.
Yeah, but the thing that they say about him is that he probably doesn't want to leave there. He's had almost his entire footballing career around there, save for when he spent some time at Burnley, and both as a player and as a manager, and he loves living there and whatever else. You know what I mean? I don't know.
So
they say that Dyche may have approached the club.
What do we know about him? What do we know about Burnley? They went to Europe that one time.
True.
And then quickly faded out. They had a very West Ham-esque season, right? They finished on the cusp of the top 6, but couldn't quite get there. And then they cratered in form the next year, barely survived.
Sure.
I mean, he sounds between him and Moyes both, it would just be a very negative football retreat. People would be unhappy with him. I mean, we won't be happy with anything we get, right?
I mean, one thing, they're not going to have a whole bunch of money to be able to spend either way, because if they end up sacking Pellegrini, they're going to have to pay him out $12 million, and that would be this week. You know what I'm saying? To say nothing of his backroom staff that they say is going to be another $2 million or something close to that. So I don't know. Oh, and Mario too. He gets another big payday too. The guy who does.
Oh yeah, the guy that signed Roberto.
Yeah,
pretty fun.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. It's like the guy that got fired from WeWork and got paid literally $1 billion to stop coming to work.
That makes sense.
Charmed life.
What do you know about our awesome keeper right now? Have you seen him at work?
Just every tweet that I read for last week. That's all I know.
I mean, really, to score on the guy, all you got to do is kick the ball towards him. That's all you got to do. He doesn't have to stretch out. Sometimes he inappropriately is jumping at balls and everything. But in particular, every single goal from the Spurs was through his hands. It's unbelievable. You got to give him one vote of credit. At least this week, he didn't have an own goal.
Well, no, but he more than made up for that by punching Ogbonna in the eye with no Spurs defenders even near him.
That's good style. That's good style, Roberto. But, I mean, our backup for Roberto is Alvin Martin's son, who club legend. Well, at West Ham, Alvin Martin. But it's David, right?
David
Martin.
It's kind of he's a ginger, isn't he?
He's a ginger. What's the matter with that? You know what? You can't really say anything bad about him being a ginger, dude, because the other thing that most people don't like is that he actually was playing for Millwall. That's the big thing.
Guys cross over all the time.
Yeah. But his dad, club legend, just kind of sitting there on the bench looking like he's dying to get in there.
I mean, he looks meek.
I mean, at this point, I'd get up there. I'd probably do better than Roberto.
So just so I have a basis for comparison.
Go ahead.
So between all the keepers you have, would you?
There's only two right now.
Would you rather? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you rather? Because I know Fabianski's out for
till at least December.
Okay.
2 more weeks, maybe.
Well, I mean, he's back in light training, so we'll see what happens.
So do you fancy your options now? Just so I can get a clear litmus test on this. Your options now or Joe Hart?
Why is Joe Hart an option? Are you kidding? Heather's going to turn in her grave.
Oh, no. Oh, Joey, I showed up at Pub Mahone Saturday morning and was like, I wish Joe Hart were back.
Yeah.
I got daggers.
Yeah. Well,
So to answer your question, yeah.
Ouch.
I mean, I was going to get Heather a jersey.
That tells me more than any tweet that I read this week.
I was going to get Heather a jersey that says "Not Joe Hart" because that's how strongly she feels about it. But I mean, are you asking, like, would we rather have Joe Hart?
Yes.
Yes. 100%.
I don't think so.
I mean, this is clearly the highest level of incompetence we have ever seen.
I mean, I don't think he belongs in the PL at all.
Well, there are people saying he's the worst Premier League goalkeeper ever.
Right?
Like,
I'm in that boat.
Like, yes, Joe Hart sucked at West Ham. Joe Hart also played for England. Joe Hart can still have a career. Roberto will be remembered for this.
Okay. I say we give Martin a shot.
Oh, yeah. I don't think no one's going to bat an eye to that.
It can't hurt. There was so much.
A 34-year-old who has only played on like a middling championship squad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, why not?
I think he was the backup at Millwall too. But, his family has history with the club. One of the things that the fans are saying sorely lacks at West Ham is that basically the people playing for the team don't understand the culture and the atmosphere of what it is to fight for this club, what this club means,
but that's
what it's
football
about
in general these days, isn't it? Like, you don't see guys like I don't know, you don't see guys like signing like 12-year deals,
right?
No, it's not like hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, like that regardless, but also like how many guys do you see with over 300 appearances in one shirt in the PL anymore?
Oh,
it doesn't happen.
Almost none.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like, it's more of that like rose tinted nostalgia of like 70s and 80s West Ham when they were all English.
Right.
And they were all just like beating the shit out of each other all the time. Or,
blood and guts on the field.
Exactly. Dude. Exactly. They want this like throwback style, but that's just not the world we live in.
Right. Right.
I mean, can't you cultivate that though from like the academy?
You would.
I mean, have more academy products.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a little bit easier said than done, but I mean, if you have the academy products, I mean, that'd be one way.
And there have been a couple of brilliant people coming out of the academy.
Yeah, I mean, it's been more so lately, but I mean, that's been a much slower rebuild on our level. I mean, you guys have Tammy Abraham.
Well, we have the whole loan army,
right? You had all these guys that were serving apprenticeships, and here's their chance to be in the PL, but they have been out there for like 2-3 years. Like, we finally have one guy from our academy, Diangana, just like really tearing it up in the championship this year.
And he came on last year and did pretty well, especially when he very, very first got in there.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like, faded into mediocrity a little bit by the end of the season. But now he's at West Brom tearing shit up, like tearing it up. But I mean, it's at West Brom and, it is a championship.
But I mean, the championship is nothing to sneer at.
No,
though.
absolutely not.
Oh, no. But I mean, it is and that's what's encouraging is we have a couple guys right now in the championship who are playing well, whereas I think the last 4 years, it was like you might have been lucky to have one guy doing really well in League One.
Right.
Huge jump.
Right.
Like, their academy is finally starting to pay off a little bit. I mean, that remains to be seen.
You can see more people making it into the first team, but just not at the moment. You know what I mean? Like they're coming, but they're just not ready yet.
Yeah. No.
To that point as well, culture isn't also built overnight. It does take just years and years.
Right.
And some are fortunate to like have it even shorter than that, but for on the average, it does take a long time to develop a culture at a club.
And in the meantime, it just feels like we're putting out the same fire every 2 to 3 years.
I mean, our defense is like not there at all. That's why, I've read so many things about who like the top candidates for the possibility of a replacement for Pellegrini is going to be. And one of the top contenders is going to be David Moyes. What was it that you were reading right before now? Like Everton and West Ham are about to engage in a tug of war for David Moyes.
Yeah. That is the saddest headline I've ever heard of.
Right. Well, just remember this. When Moisey came on for Slaven 2 years ago, one of the very first games that we won was a 7:30 game, what we also made it to Fido for. That was a 1-0 win.
I get up at 8, so I don't,
There was, I think there was 2 Chelsea guys there that day, and we had like 6. So that was a fun day. Got to go
to the mall.
Honestly, it was a pretty boring game, but in the end, at the end, it was 3 points for West Ham. So, you know what I mean? Hey, look, if Moisey comes on, it's going to be organized at the back, and that's pretty much going to be it. I'm not really sure that, Sebastian Aller is going to get, I actually said Aller. Wow.
Well, you haven't had to say his name in so long.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't trust Moyes. If I ran any club, I would not even look at his direction.
Yeah, why not?
He doesn't have. There are some managers that have a bad track record, and I just don't think he has one at all.
Knowing full well this could be sabotaged by a Chelsea fan right now.
What could be sabotage?
Trashing on David Moyes. No,
why would this be sabotage?
That he doesn't try. Like, if the board is listening, don't listen to Joey. I'm not saying that he's
the board doesn't listen to anything.
There we go. Exactly. The board doesn't listen to anything. Of course, that's what they're being accused of.
Yeah, I mean it's true.
Right.
What, one of only 2 clubs in the entire PL that doesn't have like a direct supporters group link?
I mean, I've got to be honest. I'm pretty jealous of the setup that you guys have as far as like having paid membership to have an official supporters group. When I started our supporters group, I never even heard of that before. And it wasn't until Jordan Kennedy, another buddy of ours from the Nordic, told me that because he's a Manchester United fan, he was like to start boo for sure. But he was saying that there isn't really an organized Man U group here in Columbus, because the people that were interested in doing so said, well, we can't afford to run the group. And I was, here in the middle of my second season of running a West Ham group. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Just get together and, do this and that. I never understood the advantages of having a paid group. Now, the people that have been coming constantly to the games, for me, I mean, it's just like basically coming out of my pocket. I just want everybody to come to it. You know what I mean? I'm not asking anybody for membership dues. And we are an official supporters group. We're on the website. It's easy to find us if you're coming from Sweden and you're coming to Columbus. You can look it up on the West Ham website and find us. You know what I'm saying? But the setup that you have, and that I also know the Spurs group has, Boo also, but to be able to get tickets to those games, that's pretty fucking cool. You know what I mean? And the fact that we went from a 35,000 seat stadium to a 60,000 seat stadium, and we're a big club mentality, and we still don't have any kind. Right? Well, I'm just saying we don't have any kind of a hospitality.
Not overnight.
Overnight. This is the 3rd year, bro.
Well, you're almost there. You're halfway there.
I mean, I got a good setup. I'm going to a game at the end of December, but it would be cool to be able to have that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't really know how many people in our group would be like, sure, here's some dollars. You know what I mean?
It wouldn't speak well to our, working class ethos.
Right.
You might say.
That's true.
To be like, oh, we're joining a club.
I mean, I'm just like more than happy when people come down there and they're, putting some money in the bartender's pocket. Yeah. That's really all I give a shit about.
Yeah. No, it's our localized social.
And then every once in a while, like I put together some kind of piece of merch, whether it's scarves or kits or hats or whatever, to try to help me pay for bubble juice.
Yeah. Do you have Ohio Blues swag?
Yeah. So that's part of the way that we go about paying for all these dues
Sure.
and everything to begin with is we don't necessarily like come up to people and say, hey, pay me $10
see, that
if
makes
you want to
sense.
sit at our bar and watch. No, it doesn't work like that. So we offer like a membership package like every year, and you get like, you know, shot glasses, tumblers, you know.
Sure.
Things,
Stuff.
yeah, something of value. Like not too overly expensive, but just enough for like a $10 due.
But do you collect
We'll make 'em,
dues from the? Okay, so you basically ask people for $10 and then they get some stuff.
Yeah, they get stuff.
Okay.
I mean, and it's not too different from, you know, how a lot of, you know, the supporter groups for Columbus work.
Sure,
right?
sure.
Yeah.
For
Like
Columbus
Crew
Crew.
Union, Crew Union used to charge like $20 for a shirt and a whole bunch of swag. Like it's not too any different from that. We're obviously cheaper.
Hey, see, I just do it all wrong. Like, you know, because I put the drums together for the Nordic, I've always just paid for that. You know what I mean?
You're too generous.
I'm starting to learn that, you know, that if I'd asked the right people, I probably got to get some financial help.
That's why you have me, though.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's why I'm going to help you with YNA this year.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
So
people
I'm looking-
helping people. I'm all about that.
I'm like good people making bad decisions.
That's the line.
There you go. So this week on to Stamford Bridge, you know, before we actually talk about what we think is going to happen in the game, I've been talking kind of at length with a whole bunch of people that work tour groups, trying to get people to go to West Ham games, both home and away.
Uh-huh.
And from what I've heard, and also talked to that guy at the bar, Gary, that he was just like, oh yeah, this week for Chelsea, like, you know, too bad you can't be there for the boat trips.
Oh, yeah.
So from what I understand, it's not just one boat trip. I always thought it was this like, oh, this one big away trip. So I guess they like load up like a whole bunch of party boats, like over there by the O2 somewhere, and then float down the Thames with a gigantic party, and then they dock somewhere close, like down to the south side of where the bridge is, and then they just like walk like a giant mass. Well, you know what I mean? Like Stamford Bridge is one of the only places I've been to an away match. It's a huge presence for the away team there. It was like, was a mind-boggling experience to go to a match there, like as an away supporter. So freaking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and I know.
Well, I would say I know what you mean, but when I went, Sunderland was, you know, the team we were playing, and
sure,
so
they're probably pretty quiet.
Yeah, I didn't see them.
What was the score of that game?
That I believe was a 5-1 game.
Oh, well, that'll quiet.
Was it
you
like a
down real
relegation
quick.
season for them?
Yeah, it was also a relegation season.
It had
for
to have
Sunderland.
been.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was-
so you saw David Moyes.
yeah,
This
you
is
know, I've
pre-Netflix special.
See,
Yes.
that's why you should take it from me. I've seen him up close doing his job.
Tales from the other side of
Oh,
the
we've
pond.
seen him. We've seen him before, for sure. Not my top choice. Truth is, I'm not even sure what I would think. There's so many names swimming around. But anyway, like I wanted to get back to those boat trips just sound like so much fun. The big one, I guess, had so many people book on it that they had to rent a bigger boat. So they got one of
Need
the
a bigger boat.
we need a bigger boat. I guess it's like one of the Ministry of Sound party boats, which was like a huge like rave club in the 90s. And oh my God, I would love to be on that boat. It would be so
For
fun.
the West Ham game or the rave party?
For both. Floating down the river, getting hammered, walking through the streets.
I see what you
West
did there.
London. Getting hammered. Right over my head. No, but no, I meant that.
Yeah, but those bad puns, I mean, that's just like, that wasn't very noble of you. You know, we couldn't tolerate that.
We are full circle now.
Now we're going full Phil Dunphy in here with the dad jokes. It's like awful. So anyway, gentlemen, what do we think is going to happen this week? Mark, what's going to happen this week?
Well, let's just hope that...
First, do you think that Pele is going to keep a job even after this game?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
this board is too cheap.
Okay.
So we'll keep him on.
All right.
I would hope that there's somebody else in goal.
You would hope, or
Yeah,
what do you think?
With him, I don't even know. I mean,
it's amazing.
We've seen so many mixed signals and, such a stubbornness, reluctance to really change anything. And that's how we've gotten to this point that's like, as bad as you're feeling, how much will it really change? So I will hope, but who knows? Either way, we lose Diop. 5 yellow cards, so he has to sit. So we're looking at...
Oh, shit.
So we're looking at a Ogbonna-Balbuena pairing. Maybe Winston Reed.
Right.
Either one doesn't inspire much confidence. So, a shaken back line yet again. The same problems that will persist. And I'm going with losing 3-1.
3-1.
3-1 to Chelsea.
All right, Joey, I'm going to let you go next. What do you think is going to happen this weekend?
All right, so keeping in mind tomorrow, Chelsea does have to play Valencia in a crucial Champions League match. So I think all the eggs are going to go into that one basket for the week. As far as what I see for the match against West Ham.
So you're actually seeing like main players like having to sit on Saturday?
I think there's a possibility.
Okay.
I think there's a possibility some players might get rest.
Okay.
Like Tammy.
Okay.
Sure.
So going into that match though, I'm still confident with someone like Batshuayi stepping in.
Okay.
If need be. However, the one thing I don't really feel confident about is some of the backline play that we've had all year. It's like a running joke that we can't get a clean sheet. Like I think we've had one all year.
We know that feeling.
Yeah, we definitely know that feeling.
So, if I had to say, I'm probably again with all the focus going into tomorrow's match, I would say I'm looking at a 2-2 draw.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Who scores your 2?
I am going to go with Mason Mount.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go with Pulisic. Why not?
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Ride that hot hand.
Okay. Okay.
I think he got all the Canadian tears out of his system. So.
Oh, God, that's terrible. I am going to go with the ultimate optimistic point of view here. I'm not going to be overly optimistic with my score prediction, but first of all, I think that we are going to see, at least on the bench, Arthur Masuaku. I don't know where he's been. Nobody seems to know where he's been. He got Joey. Obviously, you probably don't follow our players the way that we don't follow yours, but Arthur Masuaku. Masuaku just got a new contract.
Well, but he hasn't been seen for a month. And let me point out, if David Moyes came back, David Moyes would play Arthur Masuaku.
Absolutely, he would. He absolutely would, because he would, basically get everybody in the back and park the bus, because that's what Moyes does. I think we're going to see Arthur. I forgot about Diop. That actually cements it even more for me. I think that they're going to look for enforcers at the back. I think that Pellegrini is going to... I've heard that he actually now, as of this week, maybe as of like a day or two ago, actually has pressure from the board. Like basically you've got 2 games.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be throwing Hazard to the wind, you know what I mean? To be able to, not Eden Hazard.
That's hard.
But,
I knew that wasn't a point.
We're in America. It's Hazard and Holler, okay? But I think we're going to see Artie. I think we're going to see Artie back. That's my first thing. The next thing is I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. So I'm not going with a win. I always go with a 2-1 win. Last week I went with a 3-1 win. I have no idea why I did that, especially because that bastard Flat Cherry was sitting beside me.
He had a scarf on.
He's off camera, but he's over there. Yeah, I should have left the scarf on him. Hi, Cherry. Oh, there he comes back. He's still gloating. Oh, Now it's all you can see. Put him back. Full frontal J. Oh, now you're going to break him. Oh,
he's got no legs.
No, he's in timeout. He's good.
I have no legs. All right, so I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. We're going to see Masuaku, and I think we're actually going to see Martin. Oh, man, I hope we're going to see Martin.
Yeah, I mean,
look, he's got to, Pellegrini's got to do something. He's got to at least show that he's trying to keep his job. Maybe he's just going to sit back and wait for his check for $12 million. Maybe. That would suck. But
yeah. No.
Yeah, to make allusions to hockey, too, I think it's probably a good decision to probably play him just to see what you have.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Like, we're already staring into the abyss.
Yeah. I mean, the Blue Jackets, when Bob, left for Florida, you had Corpy and you had Elvis.
Right.
And, Elvis has gotten playing time mostly because, Corpy is not really locked down.
Right.
That position. And it's not too different from West Ham situation, even though different sport, different country.
Oh, yeah.
Different food.
Same position. What is the FA Cup schedule? What is going on?
That'll start sometime in December.
So soon.
Yeah.
If we do see Roberto in goal this weekend, hopefully for an FA Cup match, we would see Martin, right?
I mean,
I think it depends on who you play.
Yeah. I mean, we could very well but it doesn't matter. Like, we lose to League One sides in cup matches. So,
sometimes
we might as well put Joe Hart back in there.
Oh, Jesus. You just won't let it go, are you? Joe Hart.
Well, speaking about Joe Hart, though, too, so this is one of the things I go back and forth with Alan on. Because, when Zach left, or was on
Zach
the cusp,
Steffen?
Yeah, when he was on the cusp for leaving, there were some people out there in, like, the Twitter sphere, like, pushing Joe Hart to Columbus.
Oh, God.
Was that you?
No.
Okay.
No.
I thought it was going to be a possibility. He's definitely available. He's sitting on the bench at Burnley, right?
Yeah.
And I went full in fuego at the idea. I was just not having it. I think
you went full what?
In fuego, just on fire. I wasn't going to entertain it. I would talk down and cuss at anybody who would even bring that notion to the table. And and Alan caught wind of it, so now it's I get tagged and everything like Joe Hart related.
Oh no.
Because Alan thinks like I'm his biggest fan.
Are you saying
just
that
like Alan's the biggest Chelsea fan?
Are you saying that a beloved and well known to us West Ham fan is a cyberbully? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing to the table here tonight.
Oh God, that's just awful.
Yeah,
isn't
really
it?
gives us a black eye.
Yeah. Good on you, Al. Good one. That's the only sound effect I'm using today because nothing other than small applause works at all.
Yeah. That's such is the mood.
You know what I mean?
I need some like lighter golf claps. So.
I do, or we could always go with. Always one of our faves. We can end the show with that one. Thanks, Joey, for showing up today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Mark, for taking time out in your evening, as always.
Thanks for letting us in your stately manner.
And come on, you irons.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.